All right, we can start in the next minute at 6:05. I guess we should kick it off.
Yeah, let's kick it off.
For sure. All right, y'all. Once again, thank you for being here. As usual, we really appreciate it. It's getting more and more colorful. The PFPs overall, we like this. There's a wider distribution now. Some people still don't have PFPs, which is fine. Wait, Roy, did you get kicked off stage? Yo.
Yes. Okay, just about right. It feels like the Discord members, like anytime we do AMA with the folks, they just want to do something. All right, I'm not touching anything. I'm just not touching anything on my computer. Just waiting till Discord kick me out again. Let's get it going.
Let's do this. Well, thanks again for being here. This was going to be a introductory discussion about the economy loop that we've discussed with you previously and doing some leaks, and we've shared little hints here and there. A lot of you have put the basic course structure together, which is really cool. Got those, I think, sufficient information to do that. And then probably Roy can go, a little further into how the loop kind of functions or what it's about. Not sure how much we want to reveal visually at the moment.
Well, if we can.
Yeah, and that. But yeah, Roy, if you'd like to, take it forward from here.
Yeah, it's super exciting to see. I mean, the senior mafia families can get out and do some damage. Now, before Discord cut us off last time, I mean, we're talking about where we came from, but like to rewind, and it's super exciting to see that as in the Mafia metaverse, we can do whatever shit we want. And one of that, to start with, play with the whole crypto economy, is to start our farms of weed. So that is some of the things that we think is super exciting for us. So I think it's important for the overall metaverse to have more than just that. Obviously, like we started at the beginning, we mentioned that it's not going to be like just one single currency, but we like to make it a currency as more like a commodity rather than so cheaply made SLP just to get people paid off as these miners. Now, it's not what we're looking for. We like to be as a commodity, as an asset people can utilize across the whole ecosystem. The whole point of us building a Mafia metaverse and all into the metaverse at all is build an economy that people can reinvest to the extent however they want to be involved, right? They can still earn to grind. Also, they can just reinvest into the economy to be a capitalist. And I think a lot of here are capitalists. They want to be the mob, be the Don in the Mafia metaverse, which they need asset to build. The asset comes in NFT, asset comes in FT. The commodity we're introducing here is a FT, which is it's coming to two different stages where we break down. There's seed, there's also a weed. And the use for the seed is a universal core of a generation of these assets. You need to get the seed so as to get off the ground to start to getting other abilities and or other commodities. Everything starting from the seed. A seed, as it started, for usability perspective, is no longer going to be ERC. If I can remind everyone, the center is the ERC based token. So we have seed as initially as a BSC asset. And just because BSC is faster to utilize, and a lot of people are familiar with that, and it's decentralized. And also we have very good relationship with the team behind the BSC and other things. And we will expand to other chains later. Now, it's worth mentioning, before we dive into the seed, it's worth mentioning about our cross-chain capability on that. So we have ended, which we announced maybe next week or two, to have a module to facilitate the cross-chain capability across the FTs and NFTs. Meaning you can stake a token in one chain, and we can mint equivalent of that. We will stake that on the chain and mint equivalent of that, or multiples of that on the other chain. So the way we do that is we'll be staking the Syner on ERC, and by doing so, we can generate seed on BSC proportionally. So that is how we can get these things, everything started with this engine. Now, like I mentioned earlier, we are kicking off on the BSC. The reason we kick out the BSC is because ease of use and so on and so forth. But of course, there are a lot of other quote-unquote side chains, if we call it anything other than Ethereum is a side chain. If we just categorize that, we'll also be supporting other side chains down the road as well. As you can see, the economy will go as you need to stake Syner and get your seed on the designated chains down the road, so on and so forth. Which means, I think everybody here is super smart, but you would realize very quickly our central or our core asset as a Syner would get drained to all the side chains to generate all the rest of our commodity and assets and utility down the road. Just this is a high-level framework on how the tokenomics or the commodity or the asset will be flowing among each chain as vertical shards of the whole Mafia metaverse. Will make sense. We'll come back to it later a bit. Now, once you generate a seed on, let's say, starting on the BSC, you stake your Syner on ERC, and through our seed farm, we generate you a seed on equivalent version of the, it will generate a portion of the seed on the BSC for the amount of Syner you stake. Or you can burn your Syner. Right? A lot of people here already hold Syner. You can burn your Syner, generate a faster version of seed on BSC. Now, once you have the seed on BSC, you can take the seed into the weed farm to generate the weed. And weed farm, this is something super interesting. Weed farm is coming, it will be provided as a form of NFT. So if I can remind you, as Bitcoin miner, right? You have different miners. Seed is essentially as electricity, but there are different miners of the Bitcoin that comes into a different efficiency. So there's certain productivity of the wheat farm that can generate, 5 wheat a day, just a hypothetical number. Some other wheat farm can generate 50 wheat farm a day. Yeah. Of course, for the wheat farm that can generate like 50 a day, it has a certain level of a decay because of it, worn out wear and tears of a wheat farm. So you can say, oh yeah, I can last for generate the 50 a wheat a day kind of a decays for only lasts for a week kind of period of time versus the other wheat farm that generates 5 wheat a day that that will last for like a month, a year, or whatever, right? We will see a different variety of these wheat farms to be available on the market through our marketplace for people and to earn through other events, so on and so forth, to deploy. And bear in mind, you as owner of the wheat farm, you're essentially a capitalist. You have your wheat farm, and you can work with other people who has the seed to come into the wheat farm to farm the wheat. And you also can sit on that to collect the tax around that as well. So you provide a weed farm for people to farm their weed. You can be there, collect the tax, so on and so forth. Of course, the weed farm will be added on top of the turf. So the land element, this is something as a big upgrade, as you can see down the path. Wheat farm needs to be built on top of turf, our land aspect of it, so that people can have the different aspect of it, different nature of the land, different levels of the land to support different levels of a wheat farm, given the rarity and productivity. Now, coming circle back to the wheat farm. Let's say you can produce 50 or 100 wheat per day based on your productivity of the wheat farm. The wheat farm will come together as considered as an individual DeFi farming pool. If I'm not getting too too crazy into the DeFi aspect of it, but please bear with me, and we can clarify some of the questions during the Q&A later. But essentially, every owner of the wheat farm, right, is opening up a new farming pool, and people can put the seed into the farming pool to farm the wheat. Now, the wheat farm comes with also its storage. So the wheat generated from the wheat farm will also live as a BSC token, will live in the wheat storage. Storage has a cap. It has various caps by its definition of the birth of the wheat farm NFT. So that you producing, let's say in a previous example, you can produce 50 wheat per day. However, the wheat storage will probably get you like 30 wheat storage per day in that particular wheat farm NFT. Yeah, that means that you produce more wheat than what you can store. What it means is you need to keep coming back or hire someone to come back to clear up your storage, and so that you can collect the rest of the leftover 20 wheat. So meanwhile, while you have your wheat stored in the storage, it's in a smart contract, right? And it's also opening it up for the possibility for certain looters or raiders to come in and discover and loot and raid loot, so that your wheat storage is becoming vulnerable to other people if they find it out. Now, of course, as a capitalist for your treasury, for the assets, it's open up tons of opportunity for you to hire a mercenary or run your own defending force, the characters, to defend your storage as well. So let me stop here. I think that is on a very high level overlook on the current view of the loop. Let me recap. You can start by staking Sinner on ERC to get a seed through the seed farm on BSC. On BSC, with a seed, you can put into the wheat farm as an NFT to generate your wheat. Wheat generated would be in the storage, and the storage will be basically collecting. You can claim from the storage for the wheat, or harvest from the wheat storage the wheat that generates from the farm. As an owner of the wheat farm, you can collect the tax for other people depositing their seed into to generate their wheat. All right. So does it make sense, Josh? Does it?
Yeah.
I get too deep into that. I think did I get into how do you say too deep in the in the weeds? I hope it's just really stay on a high level. But I think that we can just open up to a couple of questions people might be interested before we go into the nitty gritty piece of it. I'm pretty sure people have a lot of questions, and yeah, let's. Do you think I missed anything? If not, should we just ask to the community ask get some feedbacks and ask any questions that they may have.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a pretty good surface level intro. Of course, there's like a ton of granular details that we'll have to share
Yeah.
as you're ready to release the doc and everything, answer a lot more questions. And, there's going to be a lot of new tech involved in this that we've been building. That's going to be really fun, I think. One thing to specify is that, as Roy mentioned, that there's going to be a bunch of different kinds of wheat farm, and all of those are, the business licenses that you saw in the white paper. And this is the first kind of business license that comes out. And as you can imagine, there's going to be multiple different business licenses, not just commodities as well. So you, as the community members, the syndicates, you can be the owners of these business licenses and stop being the capitalist. Same thing goes for turf. There's going to be multiple different levels of turf, as shown in the white paper. Uh, your wheat farm will have to be placed on turf. So even it's either you can own the turf, i.e., land, you can lease the turf and land, or you can just collaborate with your friends or syndicates or enemies, to just farm more seed, gain more taxes. You earn weed, use those commodities to further, upgrade your characters, to go further, get more, in-game assets, and so on and so on. So yeah, open to any questions you guys have. We'll start getting people on stage and take it forward from there. We'll start with a familiar face. Hey, how's it going? You're on stage now. I'll call
Can
Mr.
you hear
Big.
me?
We can now. How you doing?
Good, good. So I've just been making notes on everything you said, and the biggest thing is when you harvest, will you be able to safely put it in a wallet or somewhere, take it to a marketplace where you won't be robbed in transit? Like, is there a means to which you can ensure you aren't going to lose your hard-earned weed to thievery? Is there some mechanism for that?
Yeah, once you harvest, it means that you're being transferred to your wallet, and then it's in your wallet. Nobody can touch that.
Cool. So it's only potential. The only point you can be robbed is when you put it in storage, or can it be robbed while it's being grown? Is the seed vulnerable to be taken if you plant it? Do you have to wait like a number of days before you have weed? I.e., do I
Yeah.
have to stay awake and defend my farm?
So the mechanic goes as the weed will be generated as a different rate, right? Depending on the property for the weed, and it will be once the weed is generated during the process of the growing the weed, nothing can be taken off, nothing will be vulnerable. The only moment of the vulnerability would be the weed would be put into the weed storage, and before it's being claimed or harvested. That's the only time it's vulnerable. And this is also the window that would be exposed for other people looting, possibilities of looting, right? Of course, doesn't mean whoever gonna come to raid or to loot art would be successful, because you would have your defending teams out there to defend it. So that's this is something we're also, this is kind of a next stage thing we'll be adding on top of that. But just, I think, on a high level, this kind of the looting and these pieces will come a bit later. We want to get a community started and reward community a bit, so that people have time, consider this grace period, without any, as a like truce period, without anybody can loot or anything. Um, Before we introduce that level of element, we want to get people on the like free ride to generate anything to farm and harvest. But I would say a bit later, like in April May timeframe, or I mean, I don't want to make over promises or something. We may make a announcement at, all right, calm down. If it happens, meaning like rating happens, something like that.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, I think we'll start next.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Are you okay?
All good, man. How
Yeah,
about you?
very good.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, like, will you be able to walk around these farms and buy like boosters, catalysts to, grow
That's
faster
fair.
than others?
That's a very good question. So far, initially, you don't get to walk around, literally putting your character around, but there will be boosters and upgrades availability available for you to add more stuff to your farms, to reduce the decay of your farm, of the productivity, or you boost up the productivity for a short period of time, so on and so forth. So there'd be elements to do that in that regard.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Yeah, we need some boosters because that's how we grow plants out here.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's why we want to run it, kind of a test run, or like a grace period, a choose period, no attacks, no rating, just pure growing. And so we all have the early adopters all can come in to get some weed at the storage so the get go. Before latecomers, they got more and more people coming in, and at least everybody has some weed in hand, right? Where we would be utilized to upgrade our characters, get the health back, and get them excited to boost the character when they attack other things. Weed, as we see it, as one of the necessities in our life in the mobland, um, among other materials. Potentially down the road, it'll be mushrooms or cocaines and other things as well. Like down the road, following some of the model can make the compounds for the upgrades and to the cyborg. And maybe I'm speaking too much of it, but these are the continuing mix and match for the material and the recipes to upgrade your characters.
Just one more thing. Are you going to introduce like mites and stuff that can hinder your grow?
Say it again.
You like you get little bugs like mites that can like just make you grow. You know, if you know what I mean, just hinder your growth so you can't grow as fast or whatever.
He's just talking about more like pests and everything that affect the yield.
Yeah.
So far, we haven't really thought about that. For the reason is like we haven't introduced the past of the like a punishment aspect of it. That's definitely a good idea. We should definitely put in consideration when the climate change and other things. We should definitely take a note on that and put into consideration.
Yes.
For the
You could have other
get-go,
people infect the plants, if you know what I mean.
yes, definitely. From the get-go, we just want to make it a very easy for everybody to get to farm and harvest the weed early on. And these kind of like either raid and the pest or the climate change kind of a feature will come a bit later after people are more getting familiar with how to farm. Like I said, it's early stage farming, so want to make it less friction, less punishing, more rewarding as early as possible.
Yeah,
that
they
sounds
don't want to make it overwhelming for the members. Yeah, well, there's a lot of OG members that are here that know a lot about it. A lot of new members will be joining, and now that we're going cross chain and everything, there's going to be a little more education needed and learning. So, like what I said, we want to take it slow, at least early April, and then as we see things progressing, we can start introducing these kind of things. But that's a really good idea, Star.
Yeah, awesome guys, nice one.
All right.
Cheers.
Thanks, man. Let Mr. Biz go next, and then Cherry, and then Spacey.
Awesome. Hey, so I had a question with regards to like the seed token. Is the only way to get seed token, is it by staking the governance center token to get either burn an center to get the seed, or could we potentially stake like our blueprints to get seed, or what other ways can we generate seed other than participating in the staking of the governance token?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So the short answer, yes. So the S center, burning, staking center, staking blueprint, they all help generate the seed. And of course, the seed will be on the center market and making others. So that's these are multiple ways to earn the seed.
Okay, and the other question was with regards to the utility, how does the cash move throughout? So if you were to yield weed, could you turn weed back into the governance token, or how does that loop work?
Technically, yes, we can always swap it back to the governance token. It's a free market. But the key consumption point, once to generate, the key consumption of the weed is to get your asset, i.e., particularly your core characters, more powerful, either by healing them or requiring for them to upgrade, right? So with the upgraded more, like this whole thing, like our identity is based on these characters. So with their more powerful characters, you can either, the characters are different roles as well. Some are good at in terms of raiding people, some are more good at the managers in terms of managing your farm and stuff. You can deploy these managers to your business. In this case, for starting point is a wheat farm to manage and increase in productivity, so on and so forth. So, but they have some initial value and they have initial skills with a certain asset, materials, commodities as you generate, and it will be consumed by when you're upgrading them, their ability will increase, right? It's these how to say it? These assets comes and goes, but what sticks is the asset of these characters that you own. Okay.
Awesome. Just one more thing with regards to I think the so I'm just curious with the seed utility. Is there going to be would that be also traded on the open market, or how is that going to work?
Yeah, it will be always traded on open market. Once it's generated, and it's open market anyway, so somewhere it will be traded. We think it will be initially be traded on Pancake. For the liquidity, we're also introducing the interesting. We're also introducing some very interesting mechanics to stimulate the liquidity of the seed. We're introducing a protocol-owned liquidity, meaning that people who put into the LP pool, LP token for the seed down the road, and which is generated from Pancake or other DEX. Once it's generated, you can sell to the protocol, and in exchange for a cheaper version seed. Say you put $100 worth of 50% seed, 50% BNB, and you can sell to the protocol. You can sell that for $120 worth of seed, whatever price it be. So that's a good analogy. So that is similar to Olympa's Pros model as a protocol liquidity, and to help boost the liquidity of these assets as well. Similar to other commodity to be introduced down the road. The way we see that is this is a GameFi, and the GameFi is definitely focusing on the fun from the game, right? But the fi part is definitely coming from the DeFi element of it. You can see we've been very aggressive and innovative at the same time to embrace the DeFi 1.0 aspect of the game, which is farming, to the DeFi 2.0 perspective of the POL. And we are the very first project doing that. We think we will really initiate a wave of people trying to learn how to adapt the bridge in between the pure death spiral of earning asset and dump it to, I need to reinvest into the asset, either it's FT or NFT, and within my portfolio.
Awesome. That sounds super exciting.
Yeah, we're super excited, super pumped for that. And we'd really like to see. It's kind of a little bit sad to see a lot of people talking about GameFi, but all I see is people repeating all the conversation we learned from 2018.
Yep.
And we're 2020 or 2022, guys. It's time to grow up, and it's great for these guys who set up in being the first mover, getting all the market caps to 40-60 billion. Hey, now we are FTV about a couple of days before, a bit shy of 1 billion. Now, it's a good start, and thanks for everyone being supporting and engaging in the community. But with all the variety of the of the market, and also we've been heads down to crank out the actual essence and what makes us different and stand out for the next generation of GameFi. Call that GameFi 2.0, and we are leading the way. And this is what we'll try to present to you folks.
Yeah, I think it's been a lot of fun behind the scenes as well, just working on all of these mechanics, especially the protocol liquidity. That's personally one of my favorite one, and I'm very excited for that DeFi 2.0 aspect, because I think the game is super fun. But bringing the, as Roy mentioned, the fi part and the game fi, I think both of these together will be a pretty fun hit, really. I think it was Cherry next. I'll let her take the stage.
Thank you so much. So going back to whilst your seed is in storage, I've got two sort of small questions. Is there a standard growing time so that, and is it once you've harvested your seed and it is in your storage, is it locked into your storage for a period of time to give people a chance to raid it? Or if you time yourself correctly, can you withdraw it immediately to your wallet?
That's a very good question. Thanks for asking that. So we require a minimum storage fill rate before you can claim it. So starting some storage requires 50%, some storage requires 70%, or something, so on and so forth. So that variable differentiation that's effects on the strategy and so on and so forth, right? Certain storage would have a low storage, low claimable requirement, a fill rate requirement. basically make it easier for you to, oh, whenever it has to generate something, I can play it immediately. Versus some is like, okay, I cannot do anything, and then that's more vulnerable for the raiders. But the good news to that is, number one, it's a variety of strategy for you to play. Number two, the variety of the farms creates the different variety of alliance syndicates for people to. Certain people just focus on, all right, I need to collect all the wheat farms that has a ABCD part property, and some other people in the syndicate can just focus on, okay, I'm just collecting the characters, be the mercenaries, right? People having different focus given their different roles and style of the play. And but overall, the good news is, like I said, is that you have initial grace period time. Nobody gonna raid you for about a month or so. So that's the time we we can get everybody ready, collect the farms, and because once you start raiding, don't get me wrong, people will get injured. I mean, the characters get injured. And that's the time you need the weed for the heal and upgrades and so on and so forth.
Okay, that's cool. So that kind of leads me on then. So this variability, I was wondering, are there different strains of weed that you can grow that produce a higher yield, or is that incorporated into what you've just said about the storage and stuff?
Say it again, sir.
Yeah, sorry. Are there different strains of weed that you can grow, that seeds that you can buy and grow that give you a higher yield, lower yield, or is that vary? Yeah, is that vary into the type of land, the turf that you build on, or the storage, or how does that work?
Yeah. Well, so far we only have one, like, how do you say, one breed, right? Without overcomplicating everything.
Yeah.
But as we try to introduce a weed and down the road, and the mushroom down the road cocaine, right? This is something we think in our head. Of course, never say never. It's possible to open a weed 2.0 or more, like a compound weed. Say you put a 2 mushroom, 1 cocaine into the farm that gets you the more stronger weed. We never know, right? But I think we start simple. Try to get everybody used to the GameFi 2.0. And the key thing is for the community, we want to be the leaders in the space, so that everybody can benefit from that and enjoy it. And then we add variations on top of it.
Yeah, and specifically about the wheat, it's just going to be one strain for now. But as we mentioned earlier, the different business licenses, i.e., the wheat farms, will have different output and different yield generation. So that's where a lot of the difference will come in.
Okay, that's really cool. Very excited. Thank you so much for the questions and let me up on stage.
You're welcome.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. I think it's Spacey next, then Yogi, and then RD and Nick.
Hey guys, Spacey here. Yeah, so Mr. Biz kind of took my question, so I'm kind of winging it here. So you guys said that the marketplace is going to be coming online, and when that happens, I believe you just said that the business licenses or turf is going to go on the marketplace. Do we have a time frame, or how is that going to work? And I know you may not be able to answer, but it's basically a long shot that I'm asking here.
Actually, it's a good question, and I think Dimash is ready to answer.
Okay.
Yeah, about the marketplace, it's pretty much good to go. I was discussing with some of the community members today. I might drop the marketplace within 24 hours, or I might even go back. Actually, that's what I'll do. I'll go out, share some sneak peeks of the marketplace now. The marketplace will go live this weekend. And then the blueprint reveal, which was meant to be, Monday. We've got a lot of requests over the week leading into, people having enough time to be able to trade their unrevealed blueprints on our marketplace. Which we've checked in with different members and our team as well, and I think it's a fair ask. So for that reason, we'll launch the marketplace this weekend, but the blueprint reveal will just push it further just by 48 hours, i.e., 2 days. I think that will allow people globally, and it's to trade and buy, sell, list, whatever they want to do on the Mobland marketplace, and then we can go forward with the reveal. About the question of when the turf and the weed farms, i.e., the business licenses, will be available on the Mobland marketplace. We're working on that. Don't want to give you an exact date just right now yet, but I think I can come back to that question sometime next week in chat to you personally, if that's cool.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. That helps a lot. And yeah, thanks for the answer.
For sure. All right, we've got I think it was Yogi. Not long.
Yeah, hi guys. Yes. Wow, my head is spinning from all the crazy ideas you guys are bringing up to the table. It's just unbelievable. The whole concept is mind blowing.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
So, I mean, yeah, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. So, like, here's a question though. Like, am I getting it right that we will be able to profit from selling the weed to for USDC or for whatever for Sinar? Is that correct? Or
This is the open market, so people can do whatever they want.
right? So basically, if there is a demand for weed in USDC, for example, I will be able to sell it, right?
But to be fair, it's on the initially to kick off on the BSC, so maybe BUSD or BNB might be a better, but possible is definitely there.
Cool. Yeah. So like, the main question, I guess. I mean, I have a bunch of questions, but let me try to put it into one question or two. So, when did you guys come up with the whole idea with the substances? You know, being the kind of main commodity and like the initial starting business, because I remember reading the white paper and there was more talk about the banking system and so forth, and how does the banking and how does the strip club, how does all that fit in here?
Well, you need to get a weed to get excited, right? Otherwise, what's the fun?
Right.
Just walk in the strip club with a weed in your hand and talk about the real experience.
Right. Okay. One last thing, I'm still trying to understand how is it that we're going to be able to make money in this game? I mean, what is there going to be any other way to profit from it other than having to sell it on open market? Like, for example, I understand are you guys more like concentrating your energy on creating a market that creates a demand for the game, before the like before anything like stable? For example, anything like introducing another token that will be sold for you. I'm not getting it. How are we going to get paid? Can you explain to me? Like, I'm a complete retard and I don't understand anything. Where does the money
Yeah.
come from?
Yeah, money comes from. That's a very good question. Like, imagine yourself like if you're in a mob. I'm not sure if you've been in there before, but but just imagine you're in a mob. How do you get your money paid? How do you get yourself paid? Right? I would say like it's in a lot of similar way we are developing into this ecosystem. The key thing is focusing on the loop and ecosystem. Like everybody needs to have a way to survive in the ecosystem. Everybody needs to get a way to earn, whether you want to play on Soldier or whether you want to play on the Dawn, right? That is the number one place where we're coming from, meaning that you don't go in a similar way just to, grind and withdraw and dump it. That's boring. That's repetitive like dumping, and we can see a lot of people coming from certain regions and they're doing this, or genres of the games doing that. It's not healthy, really. And what do we see that is the economy flows and the loops. That's the key thing, right? This is something we emphasize in the previous white paper. But you see, it evolves into like once you have these, the goal of the loop, you need to have of economy loop, you need to have commodity and assets to be introduced across the board. Now, for starter, we have this assets, materials, commodities to start as the fundamental commodities to circle around in mob land. That sounds pretty bad, but in crypto world, there's no like a regulation on 18 plus or not. You have the commodity of the weed to be circulating across the board, and with that, that allows a lot of other things to happen. This so we see how these, as a syndicate, as an underworld syndicate, things get evolved, and a lot of business would be built across the board. As you can see, once we have the farm, you'll be acquiring a turf. Once on the turf, you'll be acquiring to be having something on top of the defending protection around your your farms and the stuff, right? And that's just the one, just a one chapter of it. Imagine the weed would be after the weed would be mushrooms, after mushroom would be cocaine, but you're only on the chapter one of the first episode because there will be also a second episode coming on to Solana, maybe third episode coming on to Avalanche, and so on and so forth. And once you think about overall economy framework we set up here, every chapter requires staking and massive consumption of the governance token to get into these chapters. So once you understand the overall big gains of the goals of the economy, and that I'm pretty sure you can figure out. I cannot speak for anyone, but you can figure out multiple ways to benefit, to earn, and to gain, to profit from the ecosystem.
Right. So the goal is here is to create a healthy economy where the main profit comes from the participants of the game and market to be trading amongst themselves and selling and buying, right? And the
That could
game
be
is
that could be one of the strategy. I'm not saying it's the only strategy. For example, when we set up the bounty, like for people to defend or raid other people, then that is people just collecting the whatever is in the bounty. And that's one way to earn, like if you want to earn that money. Or you just want to play lay back at a capitalist to just sell the turf. Just very cool. You don't have to do anything. Nobody can rob your turf away. It's your land, right? But that means also it's a big upfront investment. The rarity still is there, but it's a big upfront investment. Or you can be like a middle class, like capitalist, invest into the farm and do your business there, which is pretty awesome. But then you also come into a scenario where you need to face these people harassing you here and there, and you just deal with other people. There are different ways. That's what I'm trying to say. There are different ways. Or you can just arbitrage. Like, hey, you know what? The BSC version is here. I can do this Polygon, Solana version of it. You can arbitrage. So what our goal is here, we provide infrastructure and toolkits for everybody of different walks of life and with different strategies to have a way to earn. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and also like these commodities that we're getting, with everything that Roy explained, with everything you explained, there's multiple different loops. You can also use those commodities to then further enhance your characters, your weapons, or earn additional in-game assets. Become more powerful that way. Use those assets to further raid or to further farm better or to sell those assets as well. And that's another part of the loop. So there's, honestly, there's about in chapter one alone, there's about 6 or 7 different loops going around right now, all revolving around the synthetic stuff.
right. So you're creating like a heavy utility for all those commodities.
Yeah,
There.
absolutely.
Yeah. So like one last question: what is UBI and where does it come in? How does it fit into the whole picture?
So this is where we're talking about rating, we're talking about the different farms and everything. As you must have seen in the white paper, there's taxation, right? So that taxation is collected in the community treasury, and then that is then redistributed to UBI, of course, dependent on certain criteria that the players or the members or the participants in the loop complete, and that is redistributed to all the participants. Because if you see with all these different loops going on, right, there's multiple different commodities. There's a lot of transactions happening. So, and this, you're just talking about ERC now, but immediately we're going cross-chain from ERC to BSC. Soon after, we'll go Polygon, then Solana, and so on. All of these transactions and everything going, the tax is being collected by Mobland, and this tax is then shared as UBI back to the sinners.
Right. Thank you very much, guys. Clears a lot of questions.
Yeah,
I'm equally excited and worried, to be honest.
You're getting questions from the text.
Sorry?
Excited in the way that
You're answering from the text, right?
Hey, sorry, Yogi, go on.
Yeah. So I'm excited in the way that this is something mind blowing and something absolutely new, and nothing that I have seen ever before. But I am, however, worried in a way that to implement all of this. I mean, it takes some crazy as brain power and an amazing, and like the DAO is already working, and I think it's not just up to you guys, it's up to all of us, yeah, to here together to cooperate and to really bring it to life together, you know. So like it's something that it hasn't been done before, so I'm super excited, but you know, scared and worried, you know.
Yeah. And that's understandable, and that's why we have a lot of different partnerships coming up that we haven't even shared about. A lot of different people will be pouring in here, and we want to cater about something for everyone, right? We just don't want to focus on one loop. There's going to be multiple different loops that satisfies the needs of everyone, and we feel pretty confident about it.
Great, thanks a lot, guys. Thanks a lot, really appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I hope you guys are recording this, because I will really need to listen to this again, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the coming days or weeks, like there's a lot of documentation that needs to go out, because even while we were building ourselves for the past few months personally, each time a new team member came in and everything, it took a while for the team members to get on pace to understand these different kinds of loops and the finer granular details. So, and that's the reason, as Roy mentioned earlier, we're not going to go out and start the rating part immediately. It'll get way too complicated for a lot of people to understand. And we want the community that's been here for a while to benefit for being here for early. And we want you to use your assets to then farm other assets and kind of have a head start in a way. And then let the rating begin. Let then the games begin. And then that the GameFi has already started. The DeFi 2.0 will be introduced as the rating comes in. Then we're going cross-chain, next month. But after that, soon after, we start going on multiple different chains, tapping into the user base and liquidity of all of these different ecosystems. So right now, you're just thinking as people who are on this Discord server, think about when we go to each of these ecosystems. By the way, a lot of them, they're our partners as well, which we haven't announced, and we've been building with them, not just we're doing it ourselves. So maybe, it's not just our brains, but we do have some really, really big brains helping us on this as well.
Amazing. Thank you very much, guys.
You're welcome. All right, we've got RD.
Hey guys, just wanted to give you props. A lot of the questions were answered already, and one question I did that wasn't: is there some of these things that they're going to be on the marketplace? Are they going to be on a fixed price, or is it going to be a fluctuating price with like a market like price?
It really depends. Sorry, which assets are you talking about? Are you talking about the
NFTs? I just in general, like I'm sure some of them will be. Which ones will be fixed and which ones won't.
Yeah. So there's going to be there's not going to be FT commodities, and there's going to be NFTs as well, right? The ones that we list, of course, we want it to be fixed pricing, and then whoever acquires those, it's up to the owner where to list them as or fluctuate. When it comes to the seed and other commodities, that might be fluctuating based on the market demand and supply, right? But of course, we have multiple different loops to ensure that the demand is a lot higher than the supply side.
Okay, then I'll keep it short. I just want to give you props for visionary that you guys are, and how awesome is this? Like, what's crazy is like life imitates metaverse for me. Because if you guys need any advice, I live in the Emerald Triangle, and I've been guarding weed farms for a long time up here, and that up here with deer are a big problem. Okay, and obviously tweakers are a big problem.
Okay.
So like that's what I've had to fight up here, and the best thing here is a dog. We have dogs on this. Is there a way to have a dog?
Do we have dog assets in here? No, we don't have dogs.
Yeah, I mean that's the best thing to guard weed property.
Maybe we should introduce dogs.
Yeah, for sure.
That's my 2 cents on it. And I'm so all in this. I'm a heavy investor in this, and I just love every aspect of it. And the fact that how life imitates metaverse for me is just really crazy. And I'll just leave it at that, and then I'll keep it short because you probably have some important questions out there. Thank you so much.
Thanks, we appreciate it. And that's something really cool that RD and Star pointed out, and we want this from the community. Really, you guys have ideas of what you'd like us to incorporate, please send it over to us. Please share it with us. We'll do our best to incorporate it as long as it makes sense and it helps to a further sustainable economy. There's nothing holding back. We have a vision. The vision gets better with your input, so please don't shy away.
Okay, I got it, and I will. I got a lot of advice for garden weed, and because I live right up here. You guys know You got an idea where I live up here.
Yep.
Anyway, hey, thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, we got Nick next. The Dome.
What's going on, guys?
Yeah.
Everything sounds amazing so far. We're all super excited about the BP reveal. I was wondering about the characters that defend. Will they be locked into defending, or can you use them for other events and battles while they're actively defending a turf?
When they're actively defended, that means they're deployed. Deployed means they're staked to a certain business or like location. So while they're in their duty, they cannot do anything else. But if they're out of the duty, then they can be on the market, can be doing other things or other task assignments.
Very cool. Okay, yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, Nick. It's just like how you would be, right? If you could either be playing soccer, or you could actually be farming, or you could be eating. But it's hard to do, multiple different things together. There might be some aspects that you could do at the same time, but majority of the things it has to be one at a go.
Awesome, cool, yeah. Thanks, guys.
You're welcome. All right, we are right about on time. So, that was cool. A lot of cool questions. If anybody else has a few more, we have about 5 more minutes to go. Okay, I see a few more hands. See Miss Purple. I saw a Nero point. Oh, there we go.
Hey, guys. So in terms of staking Sinner for seed, are we going to be using the staking.mob.land site? And are you guys just going to be adding a claim seed button in between, say, claim Sinner and claim S Sinner? And will the current staking that we have, the current current Sinner staked, will that also start generating seed when that pool becomes live?
So that's two great questions. About the first part, really, we're just deciding the final bits about whether we want we want it in the same UI or not. On the back end, it's a lot more complicated than the current staking pools, because now this is these pools. They're relaying messages where you can stake on Ethereum and it'll mint on BSC. So this might be a totally different app on the front end UI at least, but if we can incorporate it into the current staking app, well and good. I think that might be cooler, where a lot of people are already familiar with the staking app. And for your second question, just to confirm again, did you ask that your current stake Sinner will also produce seed? Is that what you're saying?
No, well, our current Sinner that we've already staked within the platform, like if we are using the platform and that current Sinner is already staked, will it start generating seed once the pool is open?
No, it won't do that. You'll have to stake separately, because those are two different pools.
Okay.
Yeah, but you can use, either Sinner that's unlocking from there, or you can use synthetic Sinner. And there's going to be different yields between the Sinner and synthetic Sinner as well. And we might give a little more love to synthetic Sinner, maybe.
Beautiful. Thank you. That's awesome.
You're welcome. All right, we got Miss Purple.
Hi, everyone. So I hope everybody's doing great. It's like almost 4 a.m. here, so you guys will worth it. My question is, if a farm is raided and it's essentially taken over, who determines that there is now a change of ownership that's required? Like, it now officially belongs to a different syndicate, and then it's going to be moved from one either wallet to another. Like, is there going to be something that determines that, or will that be all programmed?
Yeah, that's a very good question. We so far have not implemented the taken over ownership kind of aspect, though we've been discussing with the possibility of doing that. Once you deploy your so now rest assured, right? We want to make it an easy, like a rainbow sparkling startup kickoff. The world is not that bad to begin with, so that's but. So when you're rated initially, I mean, number one, you would not be rated initially for a certain period of time, and number two, when you're getting rated, ownership would not be exchanged, right? But everything's possible down the road. It getting more and more, how to say, intense and competitive, but also that introduces different strategies. Like, we are just here providing infra, and we just provide possibilities, right? And but on the same time, we're also trying to protect most people's benefits. into the economy, into the metaverse. So that's where we're coming from. So
And
to answer your question.
I think she also asked. Wait, so you asked specifically about farms and not the yield from the farms. Am I correct?
Both, actually, both of them. Because if anything is going to be raided and taken over, if it's still in my wallet, it's still mine, right?
It's in your wallet.
Is there
Whatever
going
is
to
in
be
your wallet is
something?
yours.
Yeah.
Whatever is in
But-
your wallet is yours.
Exactly, and that's why we, as Roy mentioned earlier, when you're farming weed, it doesn't go straight to your wallet; it goes to a storage, and that's where smart contracts come in, and that's what those are the ones that execute either
Yeah.
the defenders or the attackers.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. Cool. Well, that we're literally right on time. Let's see. Okay, we've got one last question. We'll take this guy. What is TRT? Is this a new syndicate?
Yeah, well, yeah, we're rebranding to the English version. The roundtable makes it easier for some of the, some of where we're trying to go. It just makes more sense. But I just want to get this question, because it was really interesting to me. I started looking into the treasure ecosystem because of the partnership you guys had to get us whitelist spots. If we had the center pass, and basically, I feel like a lot of what I saw there, they're doing like similar things to you guys, which is like really cool and encouraging. And a lot of like the strength of the ecosystem really relies on like the liquidity, right? And just having like that solid backing and reserve, which clearly you guys are like working on with your economics. But I'm wondering, like, is there any chance that you can like partner with projects like that to then like further add to the liquidity between your ecosystems? And therefore, like, people could have like specific pools to exchange like magic versus Sinner and stuff like that, because that would probably benefit both parties, I feel like.
Yeah, that's super cool, and it's a really good question that you brought up. And yes, that is absolutely possible. But for now, at least that we're kicking off, we want it to be internal, just because we have multiple different commodities coming out. And as the economy loop kicks off, then there's going to be different pools, and this is where the POL comes in, the protocol on liquidity, not just for Mobland, but for additional partners that we are working with. And as Roy mentioned, this is just chapter 1, right? It sounds super complicated, which it is, but soon after we'll have chapter 2, chapter 3. And as we expand further, a lot of partners will come into play. You've heard it from the start. We're going to have multiple different modules. These modules are other, partners and projects.
Yeah, cool. Love that like partnership, by the way. That was sweet. Like, yeah. I literally got onto them from you guys, and it's already like paying off. So
that's awesome. Yeah, that was the first incentive. Besides, the airdrop for all the Center Pass holders. That was the first partnering project that we provided an insight on for the Center Pass holders. There's going to be a lot of things evolving like that for that specific group of holders, and so many more that are in the works that I think we personally are very excited about. To be honest.
Can't wait.
Yep. I forgot to mention the Center Pass also can be used for staking, which will come on slightly later after we launch this loop in April. But that's in the works, just like we mentioned for Blueprints earlier. All right. Please. I think we're 2 over. And Roy, do you think we should call it a night here?
Yeah, totally. I mean, we have. I'm super excited to thank you, Discord, for not cutting us off.
Hell yeah.
And we're looking forward to keep you guys posted through socials in the Discord channels.
Yep. And thanks everyone for being here again. And it's amazing to see people from 2 a.m., 4 a.m. I'm sure there's 6 a.m. and 12 a.m. And we really appreciate it. And we'll be cruising around chat in a bit. I'll just grab a quick lunch bite and we'll see you there. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.